In this video, we're putting this gooseneck through a series of real-world tests to see if it truly lives up to its name. The best deckover gooseneck in the market. To understand whether this deckover is actually at the level of its name, first we'll put it into situations that represent the most demanding daily use. Uneven loads, compact machinery, concentrated weight on critical points, and maneuvers where a good trailer reveals itself immediately. If it fails here, we'll know fast. If it doesn't, then we might truly be looking at the best deckover gooseneck in the market. And this is where things get interesting. The Skidsteer applies concentrated weight to very specific points, direct pressure, pinpoint load, and a level of force not every trailer can handle without flexing. If a gooseneck is going to fail, it usually fails here. On the climb, on the breakover angle, or in the first moment weight is distributed. But watch how the Bolt keeps the platform stable. No sagging, no lateral twist, no excessive vibration. The deck stays firm even when the weight enters from a single point. Now, the descent. A critical moment for any trailer. The weight releases suddenly, and the deckover must regain level without losing alignment. The Bolt does it effortlessly. If it handles this without issues, it's because its engineering is working exactly as it should. And there's still much more to test. And if the Skidsteer wasn't enough, there's still one of the most common tests in any real workday. Because a deckover shouldn't only support machinery, it must handle repeated, uneven, high-volume loads. Bales might look easy, but they aren't. Constant weight, repeated movements, uneven loading, and above all, continuous pressure across the deck for hours. This is where you notice the difference between a trailer that just carries and one that's built to actually work all day. This is where the work stops being occasional and becomes constant. Bales may seem simple, but in repetition they become one of the most demanding loads for any deckover. The real test isn't lifting weight, it's staying stable while the weight changes over and over again. A deckover can handle a machine, but can it handle repetition? Each bale adds constant weight, every movement shifts the balance, the pressure is never uniform. This is where deck design, frame rigidity, and cross-member spacing begin to matter. And even so, the Bolt holds its posture without giving in. And when the ground begins to slope, everything becomes uncertain for a moment. On a hillside, a single bale can shift, but the Bolt stays firm. No leaning, no unexpected movement, just control. The deck stays uniform, no sagging, no excessive vibration. This is what truly separates a deckover built to work from one built just to carry. Up to now, everything has been visible. But there's something we haven't shown yet. A type of force that isn't easy to capture on video. But every operator knows. Because some stress doesn't come from weight. It comes from movement. Movements that create more tension than they appear to. This isn't general weight, it's not distributed load, it's direct, concentrated force applied to a single point on the deck. The monkey claw applies pressure so precise, it can bend, dent, or deform a poorly built trailer. If a deckover is going to reveal internal weaknesses, it will be here. No place to hide flaws, no room for rebound, no distribution to soften the impact. This is where many floors creak, where some sink, and where others begin to flex. Now the real weight begins. The claw pushes downward, loads from above, and applies vertical force directly into the trailer's internal structure. If the frame isn't rigid, it bends. If the cross members aren't engineered well, they sink. If the deck isn't solid, it marks or fractures. But here, the bolt doesn't give in. No sinking, no flexing, no weak points. Just firmness, absorbing the pressure like a deckover built correctly. And then comes the most important part. Lateral torsion, the force applied when the claw moves sideways, pushing the deck to resist a type of stress unnatural to most trailers. This is where an average deckover twists, where it loses alignment, where its limits show. But even under torsion, the bolt holds its shape. The deck doesn't lean excessively, the frame absorbs the movement, and the structure stays solid. There are no tricks here, no editing to hide anything. And after a test like this, it's clear the bolt doesn't just carry. The bolt is built to last. And when a trailer responds like this, you just know. Not because of what's said, but because of what it does. In the field, on the job site, or on the ranch, things don't talk. They prove themselves. And if a tool withstands everything you just saw, the conclusion doesn't come from the narrator. It comes from you. Because we all recognize when something is truly well made. This isn't marketing. It's not an empty promise. The bolt is the best gooseneck because it was built to be the best, piece by piece.